Communication leads to community, that is to understand, intimate, and mutual valuing. Now, what is animal communication? By definition, it is an action which implies by one animal to another that cause alteration of the receiving animal's behavior. A communication would include a sender, a receiver, a signal, and also a channel. Back in the 60s, there was a scientist that distinguished two types of signal. The first signal is the discrete signal that can be seen here in fireflies and also the rattlesnakes. Next would be the graded signal, which can often be seen in rhesus monkeys for their varying intensity. These facts now lead us to the real question: why do animals communicate? There are several functions to their communication. Firstly, group spacing and coordination, which keep the members in touch. Different types of calls will be used for different reasons. Here we have 4 types of calls. For instance, they can be used for contact or lost call, or especially for social grooming purposes. Another important reason for animals to communicate is for recognition. Firstly, in species recognition, it is important to recognize their own species before mating to avoid infertile mating. Same goes to dim recognition, which is the dialect of geographically separated animals. Who would have thought? Ants also have their own roles. This is because of class recognition, whereby the queen ant would have special treatments. Communication also allows animals to discriminate between neighbors and strangers. Besides that, kin recognition is also very important for the animals to detect or identify their siblings. Individual recognition is important as well. For example, dolphin mothers responding to their young is different from them responding to their peers. Another important element of an animal's life would be reproduction. In this male bowerbird, he decides to show off his colorful feather to attract mate. Communication is also a key indicator for agonism and social status among animals. And yes, animals also have alarms like us humans, but they use them to alert members of danger. They do so by using vocalization and chemicals. Not to forget, animals communicate to find food. For instance here, honeybees will do their signature waggle dance. Now let us find out in greater detail how animals actually communicate. First up, odor. Animals use pheromones for mate identification, attraction, spacing mechanisms, and also alarm. The priming pheromones are used to produce generalized response, while signaling pheromones are used to produce immediate response. For example, the female silk moth will produce a chemical compound called bombicol in order to attract male. Another example would be the powerful pheromone that is produced by the queen honeybees. Besides that, injured minnows will release an alarm substance that will induce fright response among other fishes. Here is the various types of pheromones that we can see in mice. Moving on to sounds in animals. Different animals would have different frequencies and sounds convey faster information. To name a few, distress calls by young rodents, wolf and dogs, and echolocation sound by bats are some of the examples for ultra-high frequency sound. Well, how about the low frequency sounds in animals, you may ask? First example would be the food drumming activity in kangaroo rats. Now let us look at elephants. They use sounds that are of high pressure levels and low attenuation. They have to rely on this low frequency sound in order for long distance coordination of groups and mate location. Animals also communicate through touch. The grooming ritual that is so common in many primate species serves to both keep the monkeys healthy and to reinforce social bonds between them. Moving on to communication through vision. Just like the bowerbirds mentioned earlier, peacocks fan out their feathers as part of their strategy to attract the females. Last but not least would be communication through electric field, that is especially dedicated to aquatic animals. Electroporation in animals are often referred to as the sixth sense in animals, as they are equipped with specialized structures that allow them to detect voltages around them. Electroreceptive animals use this sense to locate objects around them and to find food. For example here, in platypus. Animal communication spans far beyond barks, chirps, and growls. Creatures use a vast array of signs to convey information to their companions and their prey. Use everything from bright visuals to smelly pheromones. Animals can communicate about danger, food, friendship, and many more.